Hello, everybody. Welcome to Be Terrific Presents. And again, we might change the name, but until we do, that is the name. If you're on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Hit that bell to be notified of new videos, like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. Tonight, with me, as always, is my co host, Tehran.
Hi guys.
And tonight, we are going to discuss Marvel's What If, the season finale. So before we get into it, full disclosure, I have not watched the whole series. I know that probably revokes my Marvel fan license. I just been really busy with work, and to be honest, as a kid, I loved the What If comics. I used to collect them actually.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. I think after I got done watching Loki, I was drained because I feel like the TV shows, watching the TV shows, even when they have like Agents of Shield and stuff like that, Daredevil on Netflix, watching the TV shows for me, even when it's Marvel, is totally different from watching the movies. Like I have a different kind of energy that goes into the movie that I don't necessarily have for TV shows,
That's
even
fair.
if I love the show. Because like I love Punisher, but Punisher, which you can finish in a day or 2 days if you keep yourself to 2 hours, right? It took me like 2 weeks to watch. And with these new set of TV shows on Disney Plus, the word on the street is that all of it connects to the next phases of Marvel. So I'm trying to unpack all that in my head, and I'm like, oh. So so when I watched WandaVision, I'm like, all right, they're definitely opening up the multiverse because Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe appears. So I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely opening up the multiverse, right? And then Wanda
Yep.
becomes, her super Scarlet Witch form from the comics, which makes me go, oh, is she's going to be the reason why we have mutants now, right? In the future. So, I'm thinking she's going to be the reason why the X-Men come into the MCU. So it's like, all right, I can see that. And I know she plays a part in the next Doctor Strange movie. So I'm like, bet. And then Captain America, Winter Soldier. I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You had it right at the end. He's Captain America now. It's okay.
He's Captain America now, true. But that started off really slow for me, but then it picked up. And then I know we're getting not Secret
Hawkeye's the next one, I
Avengers.
think.
We're getting Dark Avengers out of that.
Yeah.
We're also getting the Hawkeye solo series out of that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still like, I'm still not seeing what the big threat is. And then Loki comes along.
Well,
And
see,
then
there's so many different big bads that have appeared.
yes.
Uh, you got Ultravision. You got the one of the I can't remember his name. One of the uh, omnipotent beings
Well,
that created the Eternals. You
right.
got
Out of
Kang.
Loki, you got Kang the Conqueror coming. And he's definitely coming. He's in the next Ant-Man and Wasp movie.
Yes.
Um, so he's definitely coming, and that's definitely like a big scale villain. I know that there's a Fantastic Four movie that is definitely supposed to be dropping. I also know that.
Then
Well,
I mean, then they might end up bringing in Galactus to kind of
well
tie everything
originally
together.
I believe the original plan for phases 4, 5, and 6 was that Galactus was going to be the Thanos,
Yeah.
but on the smaller scale, we were going to have to deal with Doctor Doom.
Huh.
Is what was that was the rumors going into phase 4, but now it looks like at this point I would have to say I think it has to be Kang. Even though he's probably going, like, I think the Kang that shows up in Ant-Man and Wasp is not necessarily going to be the Kang that is the big bad. You know what I mean? Because
I mean, yeah, he said there were several thousand versions of himself
right.
that
So
were not good.
I think we're gonna get like a like an evil one for that particular movie, but I think we're gonna get the comic book version as
Yeah.
the big bad, because obviously the whole point of this arc 4, 5, and 6, I'm just gonna say it as an arc, the whole point, which leads us into what if of this phase, just like the last arc was the Infinity Stones. I think this arc is the multiverse is in danger.
Yeah. And
And
everyone is messing it up.
yeah,
No one has done
and
anything to fix it.
so, and I think the only person that really fits that as a whole is Kang. So I do think you're going to, with Fantastic Four, I do think you're going to see Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom is a sorcerer as well.
True.
I think you are going to see the
interesting
X-Men.
as a character, though.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see X-Men as well, because of the fact that Scarlet Witch and her brother are, I don't see how you cannot go back into that. You know what I mean? So I think that's how the X-Men come in.
They definitely have plans, but the Eternals actually are a link to them too.
Yes. So so it, we can sit here and talk about all the possibilities, but like I said, that leads us to what if. So by the time I finished Loki mentally drained me, because Loki was kind of like, man, there's so many possibilities I can't even wrap my head around.
Yeah.
And then so what if came out, I think like 2 weeks after Loki or something like that, and I was just like, I can't. The reason why I could do the movies is because the movies are 2-3 months apart. This has been back to back to back to back series, and I can't believe I'm saying it, I just needed a break to unpack. I will watch the season, but I am definitely happy that I watched the season finale. Like I told you before, I read the episode summaries leading up to the season finale, so that I can have some context. And can I just say Black Panther? Well, I guess I got to say T'Challa and Black Panther Kingmonger. That was an awesome pairing. Like, who would have thought to do that?
Oh yeah, no, that was super cool. Especially knowing it was Chadwick Boseman's last. That was him voicing T'Challa, so that was his last thing that he ever did.
Yeah, and that's crazy, because I saw his name in the credits, and I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, time out. What did they do? I was like, did he record this before he died, or is this like, are they just taking bits and pieces? Like, in my head, I'm like, are they taking bits and pieces? But all right, so that's cool. I did not know that this was one of the last things. Wow, so that's crazy. Rest in peace.
And then I think Michael B. Jordan did his, like, a lot of the live action characters voiced their own characters.
Yeah, I saw Michael B. Jordan's name in there.
Some of them either couldn't, there were scheduling errors, or their contracts were up, so they weren't obligated to do it at that time.
Right. Whoever did, even though Iron Man, or whatever version of Iron Man that was, even though he had a brief, like, couple lines, I felt like whoever voiced him was almost spot on.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely did a great job.
I was like, that is the almost Robert Downey. Right. So but all right, so let's unpack the episode.
Okay, so I think it starts out with the Watcher, and he's assembling everybody, the Guardians of the Multiverse, which and then it starts with him and Strange talking everything out.
Right.
But I was wondering, because the look that Strange had when he was overusing his abilities, with all the monsters inside of him, he looked kind of like Mephisto.
It's so interesting that you say that, because there's a point going back to the Loki series. I think around episode 4 or 3, there's a point where right before we find out female Loki, I forget her name right now. Sylvie. Before we find out who Sylvie is, actually it's the end of the first episode. The way things were set up, I thought Mephisto was going to be introduced with the way they were going about everything, and then the way that everything was being presented in the second episode. I think there was like a picture that made me go, that looks a lot like Mephisto. So now it ended up being Kang and 2 other people, but I think Mephisto's coming. I think he's coming.
I mean, he has ties to everyone at this point. Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch,
yes,
Agatha, Loki.
Who has just, the actress has just signed to do, I don't know if it's a movie or another series, but they just
another series, I believe. I saw that.
So she's coming back, which means, yeah, I think I definitely think this next phase, because of the multiverse, I think we're gonna see a lot more magical realm kind of stuff, as well as the science fiction stuff, as far as like Guardians of the Galaxy are concerned. But I think we're gonna see more like, because it's easier. You know what I mean? And I think the first arc, the Infinity Rings arc, I think that was more sci-fi. You know what I mean? I think this arc is definitely going to be more magic induced.
That makes sense, because they didn't really bring Doctor Strange into it until like the end of the last phase that they did, and then how do you build on top of that?
Well, so the way it's looking to me, so like arguably you can say that Iron Man was the face of the first arc, all 3 phases, right?
Yeah.
I think Doctor Strange I think he's sharing the role. I think Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are both
sliding into
that role as being the faces of the next arc. I think that's why Doctor Strange is in the Spider-Man movie. And I think that's why, if you think about Infinity War, I think that's why Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Iron Man were all put together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because Doctor Strange and Iron Man were both they were both very, very similar.
Yeah.
One was magic and one was technology, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and now it looks like, I mean, I know that Strange isn't going to be mentoring Peter, but the fact that Peter still went to Strange, I think speaks volumes. So I think they're the faces of this new volume. I think Strange is going to play heavy in a lot of stuff, like Iron Man. So yeah. So for everybody that doesn't know, each episode of What If tells a different scenario. Now I don't know if the Watcher, well, no, because he does it in the season finale. So
he narrates the whole thing.
Right. So the main protagonist from each episode gets chosen by the Watcher to become the Guardians of the Multiverse. They have to stop Ultron, who has the Infinity Gems. And what I really appreciate about the episode was it got right into it. Like, he collects them all. He tells them what they need to do. They come up with their plan, and then Thor cracks me up. Thor accidentally summons Ultron, and from there, the rest of the episode is just one huge fight scene.
Yeah, and it's really well put together between choreography, graphics, just everything is really well done.
Yeah, the music. It nothing felt out of place.
Which is weird because everything was out of place.
Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be honest. I'm not one of the reasons why I stopped watching the DC universe shows like Flash, Green Arrow, and all that was because of time travel. Like I am not a big time travel, multi-universe type of fan. Like once you start bringing it on, like, and I get it. I get it. It's fun to play with those. That's why I like What If, because What If was like its own little, just its own pocket dimension, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm not a huge fan. I don't like all these retcons that they use them for, which I think is the real reason.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. That's the whole point of the Flash as a hero. He's the person they can. Oh well, he went back in time. He messed something up, and now it's this way.
What I mean, and it's just it's hard to keep track of. That's why when DC went to when they had their, I forget the storyline, but it was the storyline that started the New 52.
Yeah.
And but then right after they had the New 52, they had Flashpoint, which reset everything all over again. And I was like, all right, see, that's too much. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I'm not a big fan. So when they started talking about the multiverse in the last Spider-Man movie, even though it was a joke at the end of the movie, I was like, oh my God, I can't. The only positive I saw about the multiverse aspect was bringing in the X-Men.
Well, I think that Marvel and DC do it differently. DC misses a lot of opportunities to mix universes and integrate things and actually fix what's broken. Whereas Marvel is taking the opportunity to take all these puzzle pieces and put them together where they go, instead of, oh, well, this one's here, and sometimes they come together.
Yeah. I will say that, like, integrating the Ultimate Universe characters like Miles Morales into the main universe, I think that's awesome. Again, I haven't really read the comics, but I still think the overall idea is awesome. Like, I think there's a lot of potential there. It's just, for me, it's just a lot to keep track of.
That's fair.
So that's why, like I don't even mind if, like the Ultimate Universe, I used to buy a lot of those comics, but once they started really integrating into the main universe, it's like, oh, it's a lot. It's just a lot to keep track of at the end of the day for me. But yeah, the fact that Marvel can take all these heroes from different universes, bring them together to stop this one villain, and nobody's going to know about it.
Yeah,
is awesome. And again, it goes back to Marvel. Just, I don't know what it is about them in movies, and now I guess we have to say TV shows, because their TV shows before, like Agents of Shield was okay, but WandaVision was way better than Agents of Shield.
It all comes down to communication, because what happens is you have different directors and executives who are trying to work together, but it doesn't always work out. Now everything runs across the desk of Kevin Feige. Everything.
Right.
He is in charge of the whole shebang, so nothing gets missed. If they're gonna put this show and that show, they're gonna, it's gonna be known. It's gonna be together.
Yeah. And you know what else is good about that? Is that Marvel is slowly, well, not even slowly, at this point they have to be halfway up to where Star Wars is, because Star Wars, I don't know if a lot of people know, but the reason why Star Wars is able to tell all their stories and everything still makes sense, even when they do like Rogue One, right, is that they actually have, like, I forget their names, but we'll just call them editors. They have like 4 to 5 editors, and their main job is to keep track of this particular part of the universe. And it's kind of like Kevin. you know, so everything's running through Kevin. But I'm sure Kevin has somebody who's like, hey,
oh yeah,
you are, you know, you're this person and you're this person, you know.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So
I'm sure he has a great team. He's just, but the point is that everything's under one umbrella
right.
instead of, a bunch of different people trying to work, and cover each other.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And
But
then, oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say for the ending of What If, or not necessarily the ending, but during the fight scene, it was a real struggle to watch Doctor Strange go through something very similar to what Tony did, as far as like, I mean, if you looked at his face,
Oh yeah, it's first the
and just,
sacrifice.
yeah, as far as like just having to really give up something, because Doctor Strange, I mean, he had to give up his hands or whatever, but he never really had any strong sacrifice, and he was always one of those people. Well, oh, there's another way. There's another way. There's another way. I can fix it.
Right.
And this time it wasn't something that he could do, which
Yeah.
it was hard for him to accept.
Yeah. I think we had a lot of characterization in there. I think we all saw that Killmonger was going to do something at the end, you know,
Of course.
I thought it was scenes that they brought in Black Widow to help with and that she used Arnim Zola to essentially hack Ultron from the inside. And then Zola was still able to try to fight for the sun. Because that was my first thought. I was like, all right, Zola's gonna destroy Ultron from the inside.
Okay.
That's cool, right?
Yep.
But my immediate thought was, but that just means he's now in control of Ultron's body. Was my next thought. So I was like, so now you still gotta fight this Nazi scientist now in a robotic body that can draw in the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
You know, and which is what it started to happen before Strange realized, like, ooh,
yeah,
we were meant to just separate the stones from the body. And then, you know, he makes the big play, as Captain America told Iron Man. And he makes the sacrifice, and now I guess he is stuck with the Watcher.
Well, he's stuck still in that same universe that so basically a bunch of his What If episode, a bunch of his decisions lead to the destruction of his universe. And so it's him in a bubble just by himself for years, hundreds of years.
That sounds like a very similar story to somebody else. I can't think of it.
Sounds like the Stephen King, The Fog.
Yeah, still, yeah. I mean, like, there's another Marvel. There's probably tons of Marvel stories like that.
But yeah. Anyway, so he's back in that universe all by himself, but now he's watching them fight each other for eternity.
Right. So,
and it's all due to his foolishness at the end of the day.
Gotcha. So, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. I definitely thought it was a good episode. It definitely makes me want to watch the whole series. So, good pick by you.
What are we doing next?
I think for the next episode, I was torn between trying to do like an anime, because I'm writing a book on how to write comics, and I'm using like comic book examples and manga / anime examples. And I was using Full Metal Alchemist, and then I jumped to Bleach because Bleach has more clear defined scenes that fits the model that I'm going after. So I'm thinking maybe we tackle Bleach or Full Metal Alchemist. I'm leaning more towards, I think Full Metal Alchemist has the better story, but I think Bleach has obviously the longer longevity, but I think there's more to unpack with that. That's Christy calling me to tell me that they're only in the waiting room.
Okay, well, let's finish up here. Either way, I'm prepared, whatever you choose for next week.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna make the decision right now. I'm gonna let everybody in because they're all. We're gonna do Full Metal Alchemist. That way, Christy can join in. So we'll end it there. So next episode we're gonna do Full Metal Alchemist. This is my cast, everybody. They couldn't wait any longer. So we're just finishing up our podcast episode, everybody. So
I would have loved to gotten in on it. I haven't seen it yet. So I was like, oh, I want to kid with the spoilers.
Oh, well, no, that's what we did. We spoiled it.
I know. I'm sure.
We sure did.
We spoiled it. But again, thank you for everybody that's supporting us on Patreon and on the YouTube channel. And make sure you hit the bell to be notified new videos. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. Until next time, stay. This is the podcast. Keep on. I get everything confused.
Be
everybody.
terrific.
That's always the tagline. That's always the tagline. But I try to do something different before I say be terrific. But be good, be terrific. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Do it, Christy.
see my beats fast.
All right.